It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to the program. It is County-Wide. I'm Brad Miller, and I'm happy to welcome into studio today for the second of a two-part series of programs here. Eric Wyles is the treasurer with the LISA program, an acronym for the Low Income Student Aid. Kelcy Lyons is the president of that organization. We talked in an earlier program about a number of things, including what LISA is and what it does. We'll recap that very briefly. Let's see if I can get this. LISA is a program that's been around for about not quite 10 years, Eric. Founded by yourself and your father, and basically does just what the name implies, helps provide financial aid for students from either low-income families or low-income situations for schools across really the spectrum of the Verde Valley. Did I get it kind of, sort of?
That is correct, Brad. Low-Income Student Aid, or LISA, is in 4 schools in the Verde Valley.
4 schools.
And we hope within the next 5 years to have all public schools covered in the Verde Valley. That's one of the goals of the board of directors for LISA.
I want to talk a little bit. We covered some pretty good ground on folks, how they can reach out if they would like to take part in the program as recipients of the student aid, or at least find out more about it. And that would be through the website that we'll repeat later in this program. So we can kind of start there, but let's go the other direction and find out, where does the money come from? How are you funded? Monies that come that end up in the pockets of the students, or rather in the provisions for the students, I should say. Where does that start? What are the resources? And I'm accepting that, or expecting that there's probably many.
We do have multiple streams of revenue for low-income student aid. LISA generates funds through Arizona state tax credit dollars,
Sure.
through municipal small nonprofit grants, and through grants from other nonprofit organizations throughout the state of Arizona.
Okay. Simple donations from folks like me, folks like any of our listeners?
We really would love to have donations from anybody and everybody who, when they investigate LISA and they fall in love with LISA, because they will have a love for LISA when they understand what LISA is able to do for our very deserving children. We can get tax credit dollars up to $800 per married couple, or $400 per single individual filer, but we request that you give your tax credit donation to the schools of your choice first, and then if you still owe income tax to the state of Arizona, please consider LISA for your donation.
Okay, let me give you, for instance, help me with this. I'm going to use a school that my wife and I support through the tax credit program, which is a wonderful mechanism that's been around quite a while now. I can't believe our state legislature hasn't taken it away. I should shut up because maybe they're listening. But it is still there, and it's become, not just a nice benefit. It's become an essential, a necessity for a lot of school districts, I think, across the state. But that tax credits program is there. Most folks, if they're unaware of it, should talk to their tax preparer, their accountant, whomever, and find out about it, because you can become a big benefit to our school and other nonprofit programs like LISA. But let's do this. I give as a married guy, the $400 or so dollars, roughly, as a married couple. To me, it ended there. I do that for a school of our choice. You informed me earlier that I can also
provide and be an advocate for LISA, and you can provide $800 as that same married couple to LISA. So in essence, what you have provided is $400 to the school of your choice and $800 to LISA, so that's a $1,200 tax credit donation to the district or the school and LISA. That is a dollar-for-dollar tax credit for you, and you're directing where those funds can be spent. I really like that, because I can donate to a school right across the street from me and hear the laughter of the children that I'm helping, and I'm not filling a pothole in the great state of Phoenix. So with general funding. So it's very important to me to know that I can spend my hard-earned tax dollars right in the same neighborhood that I live in.
But you can do both, and that's what I didn't know until you visited today. And I thought I knew everything about this Verde Valley.
You absolutely can do both,
No.
and we really want you to do both. It's important that we support our schools and Lisa as well at the same time, because we do amazing things in collaboration with our schools. And your tax credit dollars really help carry a large portion of the Lisa finances. The tax credit dollars are about 20% of our income, and we really want to raise that to about 50% of our income, because there's never a guarantee that you're going to get grants. Those are all competitive in nature. We try the best we can to write our applications and receive grant dollars, and we've been fortunate to receive grant dollars, but you never know with the economy,
right,
if cities and towns or communities are going to lower the amount of funding they can provide nonprofits. So those tax credit donations are extremely, extremely important for Lisa.
Those are folks more likely to come back time after time, whereas grant monies are much more shakier in terms of their reliability toward you.
That is correct, Brad.
Yeah,
That is correct.
Let's have Kelsey jump on, because Kelsey, you shared something too off the mic I'd like you to share with our listeners, and Eric touched on it, and that is the notion of these funds being directed. They can be like with the tax credit program. I can direct my monies to, say, Mingus Union High School in the theater program.
Sure.
These can be directed through your program in a different way. Help us with that.
Absolutely. So a big question I would say when I'm talking with people about Lisa is, well, doesn't the school pay for things like this? When you give to school, or school funding is generally for a classroom, a teacher, or a program as a whole.
Right.
What Lisa does is provide direct student aid to the individual.
The child.
And absolutely, to the individual child. So that's where it's a little different. So when you donate to, let's say you're going to donate to, the school's leadership or student council program, that money is earmarked for that program. Whereas when you donate to Lisa, it goes to our general need fund, and we're able to provide that aid to students in a very timely and I would say protecting their identity or the anonymity there to that student almost immediately. Our turnaround for aid requests is within 5 to 7 business days.
Really?
So if a student is, without a coat today and a teacher recognizes the need, they submit an aid request, the aid committee has a day or two to review the aid request, we're buying a coat and getting, that child warm within a handful of days.
Right.
That's one thing we've really prided ourselves in. There's not really anything else out there like Lisa, because we're able to provide this direct aid to students in need in a very timely fashion.
And our listeners, just to reiterate for their benefit, this is the second of 2 parts. And in our first segment, we spent a good chunk of time describing how students and families are identified and those kinds of things. So as we talk about it, we're kind of jumping over that as we discussed it in our earlier segment. It's a terrific way for the program to work with educators themselves really on the front line. Those advisory panels that are part of it really makes you kind of nimble. And that's probably why some of those turnarounds for, like the scenario you described, can happen so quickly.
Absolutely. The teachers, we refer to them, or the aid committee, I should say, is made up of school personnel or teachers, and they're like the heart teachers. They're the teachers on campus that know their kids. They have a heart for children, and they acknowledge or notice the need probably before most people would.
Sure.
And they just notice the difference in, little Johnny's attitude, and they might be able to dig a little deeper and understand where that need is,
right,
so to speak. And that's what's so awesome and so unique about Lisa is anybody can advocate for the child. It doesn't have to be a parent. In fact, some of our students don't have parents that advocate for them, whether it's just a dire situation or, pride's involved a lot of times.
Right.
And that's certainly understandable. It's really hard to admit when you need help. But that's what's so joyous about Lisa and being part of it is being able to advocate for kids that don't otherwise have somebody there to advocate for them.
We need to take just a short break. When we come back, among some other things I want to talk about, you described very well there, Kelsey, how the students themselves can be individually recognized as recipients of the programs and beneficiaries of this important program. But there's more than that, where we can fund some after-school programs that might benefit any number of students, all the students perhaps even. And you can do that as well. So you can kind of do both to different degrees. And I want to explore that a little bit. I would like our listeners to understand where the money comes from, where it goes, and how it gets to the places that it's needed most. Our guest today with the Low-Income Student Aid Program, the LISA program in the Verde Valley, Eric Wyles Kelcy Lyons. I'm Brad Miller. We'll come back to Countywide right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology, factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Thank you so very much for your generosity and kindness in helping others. I hope that you take advantage of the many Arizona state tax credits available when giving to qualified charities and schools. If you haven't taken advantage, I hope you'll ask your favorite charity if they qualify. You can go to Arizona Department of Revenue website, search for tax credits, and look at the list of qualifying charities. Then look at your latest Arizona income tax return and see how an Arizona tax credit can benefit many. This is Lewis saying thanks again.
Let's talk. That's the message from Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, providing a personal touch when making insurance and financial decisions. Jonna will simplify your insurance needs while offering competitive pricing. Let's talk auto, home, life, and farm. Call Jonna at Farm Bureau today at 928-649-8686. Your Cottonwood Farm Bureau property and casualty insurance company. At Farm Bureau, they insure more than just farms.
We welcome you back to the program. I'm Brad Miller, and in our studio today, Kelcy Lyons is the president, Eric Wyles the treasurer of the Low-Income Student Aid Program, the LISA program, growing, building here in the Verde Valley area, helping students perhaps from low-income families get the same kind of education that all children should be afforded in our local public schools. Talk to me a little bit about some of the after-school programs. We talked about how students, specific students, and their needs can be identified and benefit from this program. But Eric, share with me some after-school student programs, can kind of benefit, and that can be part of for all kids at any particular school.
Absolutely. The majority of our schools have after-school programs other than school hour programs. Those programs are funded with what we call the 21st Century Learning Grants. Those grants do not fund everything, and those grants slowly go away. So with LISA, we help fund some of these programs. 90% of the students that attend the after-school programs on these campuses are qualifying LISA students. And so we feel it's important that we help pay with either tuition or supplies or other items that can benefit and enrich and enhance our students' experience at these after-school programs. They're very important. Some of these are farm-to-table programs where students are learning culinary items and how to cook items that they have literally grown in the greenhouses on their campuses. These are lifelong lessons they'll carry with them. We feel the importance of these programs are very large because there are no other programs in the Verde Valley. We don't have a Boys and Girls Club. We don't have YMCAs. There's not a lot of opportunities for students after school in rural Arizona. And even though we've seen the growth we've seen here in the last 50 years that I've been here, there's not much here for our students other than these after-school programs. Those programs and the benefit that LISA provides, most of that is funded by your tax credit donations. Mm-hmm. So we really, really can use those tax credit donations year-round. You don't necessarily have to wait until April or March of next year to donate.
Yeah,
You
right.
can donate now. And so that's one of the places we use funding is at our after-school programs.
I think it's important to point out for folks who maybe don't have kids in school and their own school careers or many decades in the past, how after-school programs can really light up a kid. There might be a child who is just kind of quiet and in the back row and really doesn't raise their hand a lot in class, but there can be something about any of the after-school programs, be it music, art, theater, whatever it is, and there they shine. And from there they build the friendships and the relationships and the confidence that will help them in school. And so we got to keep in mind that when we're talking either about individuals and helping them, either be it clothing and shoes or school supplies or these after-school programs, all of it is aimed at the overall education of every child. You're kind of like financially, to the best you can, leveling the playing field so every kid comes out of every school and every classroom with the same takeaway. Yeah.
We are really trying to level that playing field, and we're trying to bridge that gap. We want students to participate, and if they feel they can't participate for financial reasons, we really would advocate for someone to fill out aid request forms on our website so we can help those students. And I want to keep these programs running.
You, the two of you shared with me. I want to ask Kelcy to kind of share with us a specific story about some of the ways that this program can be such a success.
Absolutely. As the word spreads about Lisa and more people are learning about our program, we have gained many community partnerships, even partnerships with kids. And that has been a huge success story in my book, seeing students helping students. Real quick, 2 instances. We had MVP Student Council do a movie night to fundraise to give to Lisa, to give to our program. They saw that Lisa is helping students in our community and they wanted to be a part of it. So they chose us as their beneficiary for their fundraiser and gave us a check, which was really endearing.
They didn't have to do it.
Right. Oh, absolutely not.
They
had
did
many,
not have to do that.
Absolutely. That was totally up to them. Same thing at the high school. We had a student, a teacher submitted an aid request for an assistive technology device for this student, a life-changing device that this student is able to take with him now out into the real world and use. And it was a very costly aid request.
Well, the student is hearing impaired.
Hearing impaired, yes, sir. And he needed this device so that he can go to the bank, to the post office, and communicate with our community members. And the aid request came in. And being that I teach at the high school, I am the leadership advisor. I posed the question to my class and said, you know, this student, a Mingus classmate, I should say, needs this device and it's very costly. And I didn't even have to finish my sentence. And my students were raising their hand. Well, can we help fund? Can we help, fundraise for this? Can we pay for it? And it was put on our agenda officially at our meeting, and they brought it up without, I just kind of sat back and watched, and I really did not encourage or discourage it. It was all student-led, which just was really endearing to me. And the leadership students at Mingus Union High School paid for half of this aid request, which was thousands of dollars. So that was really awesome.
And made this happen where it may not have.
Absolutely.
Otherwise. Yeah. See, and there you go. And this it's part learning, it's part finance, it's part citizenship, it's part of so many different kinds of things. So many levers get pushed. Sure. When the students themselves, their parents, these families all become part of this Lisa program on whichever end of it you are, whether you're a recipient, whether you're a donor. Let's talk, we're going to be wrapping up here pretty quick. I don't think we've talked about if you need volunteer help. Are there people beyond financial resources, Eric, or folks in the community who might volunteer? And if so, are there prerequisites? What would one need to do to help the Lisa program?
I would ask volunteers to email us with their area of expertise, because we can always use volunteers. What we would really like to see is folks to help us at school level functions, such as programs that they have at school. Maybe volunteer at one of the after-school programs. Help us at one of the like the Old Time Country Fair in Cornville, or at a movie night at
Okay.
another school.
Okay.
We need volunteers in those areas, and we need volunteers that can help Lisa with marketing and grant writing and anything and everything that they have expertise in to help Lisa grow. Because we understand we started out with one school, and to get to the 15 public schools in the Verde Valley, it's going to take a lot of volunteers that have a lot of knowledge on how to grow a wonderful organization like Low Income Student Aid or LISA.
Terrific. Extraordinary work that you're doing. Again, I said it in our first program. I'll say it again. It's the kind of program that we wish there was no demand for. But there is. The reality is that there is, and there probably always will be to some extent, if not another. And right now, it's certainly there is a demand for financial assistance for a lot of different students. We talked some of the numbers in our first segment. There are more students and families in need of your program than I think a lot of people would suggest, sometimes well more than 50% in some of the schools that you identified. It's extraordinary. Yeah, Eric.
Brad, can I thank a couple of our major donors if we have time yet?
You got 1 minute.
Okay, I'd like to make sure
here.
we acknowledge the City of Cottonwood, the Burton Family Foundation. Thank you so much to the Burton Family Foundation for their $35,000 matching challenge grant with them. I'd like to thank the Arizona Community Foundation of Sedona Verde Valley, the Arizona Community Foundation of Yavapai County, and the Arizona Community Foundation from Phoenix. These have all been large partners and donors. I'd also like to thank Whole Foods, who recently gave the Low Income Student Aid or LISA a $3,000 grant. So all of your funding has helped grow LISA, and we can't do it without you. And a huge shout out and thanks to all our community members who have so often stepped up to the plate and donated their tax credit dollars to help LISA grow. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
Let's wrap up the program again with that website. If folks do want to reach out either to volunteer, to provide resources, have questions, if they are a family would like to participate in this program, how do they, Kelsey, how do they do that?
Yes, please visit our website at oakcreeklisa.org.
Just like that. Say it again.
oakcreeklisa.org.
All right. Our guest today, Eric Wyles Kelcy Lyons, extraordinarily valuable program serving I was going to say Yavapai County, not that big just yet, the Verde Valley, and we are our students and families much better for it. The Low Income Student Aid Program, LISA. I'm Brad Miller. It's our countywide, and we'll see you next time.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Thank you so very much for your generosity and kindness in helping others. I hope that you take advantage of the many Arizona state tax credits available when giving to qualified charities and schools. If you haven't taken advantage, I hope you'll ask your favorite charity if they qualify. You can go to Arizona Department of Revenue website, search for tax credits, and look at the list of qualifying charities. Then look at your latest Arizona income tax return and see how an Arizona tax credit can benefit many. This is Lewis saying thanks again.
Let's talk. That's the message from Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent providing a personal touch when making insurance and financial decisions. Jonna will simplify your insurance needs while offering competitive pricing. Let's talk auto, home, life, and farm. Call Jonna at Farm Bureau today at 928-649-8686. Your Cottonwood Farm Bureau property and casualty insurance company. At Farm Bureau, they insure more than just farm.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, email us, news@myradioplace.com.